All right, so we're back and ready for another deep dive. And, today we're kind of returning to a voice. Well, a lot of you probably recognize it already, I'd imagine.
Oh, yeah.
The music of Shadowsphere.
Absolutely.
We've listened to some of their stuff on the show before, and we felt like, given kind of everything that's been going on with Shadowsphere recently,
Right.
we felt it was a good time to maybe revisit their music.
Yeah.
And specifically dive into some of the lyrics of a few tracks.
Yeah.
And just to kind of be upfront about it, the 3 songs that we're going to be talking about today are Morphine,
Okay.
Wilted, and Your Villain.
Really interesting choices. I'm excited to jump into these.
Yeah. And as we listen to these lyrics together, I think it's important to remember that Shadowsphere has been dealing with some pretty serious health issues.
Right.
We've talked about it before. Vascular Ehlers Danlos.
Yeah.
And, they haven't been doing very well lately.
No, they haven't. And, for folks who are unfamiliar with vascular Ehlers-Danlos, it's a really serious genetic condition that affects connective tissue.
Yeah.
And it can cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, and I think, diving into these lyrics, not only is it a way for us to kind of connect with their art, but it's also, a way to maybe offer a bit of support.
Yeah. I completely agree. It's like a form of engagement and support during a tough time.
Totally. And it's not just their health. I mean, we also know Shadowsphere has gone through a really rough breakup recently.
Oh, yeah.
And they've also opened up a bit about having kind of a challenging childhood.
Right. Right.
So, you really can't help but hear those experiences reflected in their music.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, I think, in these songs.
Yeah. There's definitely a rawness there.
Yeah. These songs are so raw and vulnerable.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to really delve into the themes and the emotions in Morphine, Wilted, and Your Villain. Just always kind of keeping that personal context in mind as we unpack what these songs might be trying to tell us.
That's good.
So let's start with Morphine.
Okay.
When you listen to this track, what hits you the hardest? What are your first impressions?
You know what really gets me about Morphine is how this song sort of just draws you into this, I don't know how to describe it, this relationship that just, it's clearly painful, but there's this like magnetic pull, It's not just about being hurt. It's like the hurt becomes a kind of connection, almost addictive.
It really does feel like that.
There's this kind of push and pull.
Totally. A push and pull.
It's throughout the entire song.
Yeah, and you can hear it right away.
Yeah.
It's in those lyrics like, hurt me again so I can feel. And then there's that line, you whisper words that sting my soul. You drag me down. You make me whole. Like, how do you even make sense of that?
Yeah, it's like they need the pain to feel complete.
Yeah.
Which is such a hard thing to wrap your head around.
It is. In your experience, like, have you ever come across this idea before?
Oh, yeah.
That pain can actually be like a twisted form of connection in a relationship.
It's more common than you think.
Really?
Sadly, yeah.
Especially, when there's issues with self-worth.
Right.
Or maybe past trauma.
Yeah.
Sometimes pain, it can feel familiar.
Okay.
And in that familiarity, even if it's unhealthy, it can feel like connection.
Right.
Like you're being validated.
Yeah.
In a messed up way.
Yeah.
And that line, I crave the pain you bring each night. It's in the dark I find the light. It really captures that idea.
Yeah.
It's like the only way to feel anything real is through that
Intensely.
pain.
Intensely, yeah.
And it's not just the surface pain either.
No.
I mean, the lyrics are full of these references to a past that they share with this other person.
Yeah.
The darkest parts of me, the secrets that I hide so deep. You know where all my scars reside. You know the memories. I feel you bring them close. You hold them near. It's like they've been through so much together.
Yeah, it really paints a picture of intimacy.
Yeah.
But built on vulnerability.
Yeah, and it's like that vulnerability is almost being used against them.
Totally. It's weaponized vulnerability.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
Well, what's interesting is how it all ties back to that sense of being trapped. This person knows Shadowsphere's fears, their secrets, their scars.
Yeah.
And that creates a bond that's almost unbreakable.
Right.
Even if it's toxic. Like that line, in your arms, I can't escape yet, I can't leave, it's far too late. It's so powerful. It's that feeling of being completely stuck.
Yeah.
With the person who knows you best.
And then the whole remove the morphine so I can feel thing.
Right.
That's a recurring theme in this song.
What do you make of that?
It seems like they're saying that this relationship,
Yeah.
it's become like a numbing agent.
Like it's masking something deeper.
Yeah.
Some deeper pain.
Like they need to confront it, but they can't as long as they're still in this relationship.
Exactly.
So let's move on to Wilted.
Okay.
If Morphine is about being trapped in this intense cycle,
Yeah.
Wilted feels like we're seeing the aftermath,
It does, isn't
the
it?
slow fading of that connection.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this one?
Wilted just captures that sense of decline. You know,
Yeah.
when a relationship is dying, the vibrancy is gone, and it's like the love is just slipping away.
Yeah.
And it's about that feeling of knowing it's ending, but not being able to let go.
Yeah. Like that very first line, the silence between us cuts like a knife.
Right.
It's so sharp,
So sharp.
too powerful.
You can feel the distance.
Yeah. And then you get this like inner struggle,
Mhm.
tired of fighting, but I don't want to say goodbye. It's so relatable.
It is, isn't it? That feeling of exhaustion,
Yeah.
but also that resistance
Mm-hmm.
to giving up.
Yeah. Like you've put in so much effort.
Yeah.
You don't want to admit defeat. Right. It's like that image they use. You're slipping through my hands like sand in the rain. It's so helpless.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to hold on.
Desperately.
Yeah. But it's impossible.
And the contrast, you know, between the past and present.
Mm-hmm.
You used to be my light, now you're fading to gray.
Right. We were once fire, but now we just smoke.
Yeah.
Like, how do those sparks die out so completely?
No, it's such a good question. It's like, what happens to those initial sparks?
Yeah. And there's this real sense of being lost
Lost.
in this song. Drowning in love, but it's barely afloat.
Mm-hmm. Stuck in the chaos when nobody knows.
Yeah. It's like they're adrift.
Adrift. Totally. And it's like nobody knows what to do.
Yeah. Like, have you ever felt that in a relationship?
Oh, yeah.
That kind of disorientation?
It's like being lost at sea.
Yeah.
No idea how to get back to shore.
And then there's that line, we're barely holding on, but I can't let you go.
Right. And it's repeated
Throughout the song.
throughout the song. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. It's like a desperate plea.
The desperate plea.
Like they're denying the inevitable.
Yeah.
What do you think's stopping them from letting go? Even though everything's falling apart.
Well, I think it's that fear, you know,
Mm.
of being alone, of starting over.
Yeah.
And the weight of history, you know,
Right.
all those shared memories.
And then you get these hints of lingering affection.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're not completely over it.
Yeah, not at all.
I still see the ghost of your touch in the night,
Hmm.
but the warmth is gone and nothing feels right.
And that line, we're drowning in the love we both regret.
Yeah.
It's like they both know it's over,
Mm-hmm.
but they're still mourning what they've lost.
Right.
And that makes letting go even harder.
Yeah. And it feels like all of that culminates in those lines. Maybe we're better off breaking apart, but I can't find the strength to restart.
It's that awareness, you know,
Yeah.
that it's the right thing to do.
But they just can't do it.
They just can't. It's too much.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
Talk about your villain. This one, I think, introduces a very different dynamic.
It does. It's unexpected.
Yeah. After the sadness of Wilted.
Yeah.
What do you think is the main idea behind this song?
Your villain is interesting because it's like Shadowsphere is choosing to be the bad guy, but they're doing it to protect the other person.
Yeah, like a selfless act.
A selfless act, yeah. Even if it's a bit misguided,
Yeah.
you know?
You see it right away
Yeah.
in the lyrics.
You pain me as the villain in this tale we weave. If it helps you heal, I'll take the darker side. Like, they're willing to be the villain
Yeah.
if it helps the other person. Have you ever thought about that?
Such an interesting concept.
Like someone choosing to be the bad guy?
Yeah, to ease the other person's pain.
To ease the other person's pain, yeah.
It's kind of heartbreaking.
It is.
But also, I don't know, there's something kind of beautiful about it.
I know.
And the lyrics really paint this picture of them embracing this villain role.
They do. I'll be the Joker to your Batman.
Right?
Robbing all the banks, set in the world aflame, the chaos in your night. It's dramatic, isn't it?
It is. It's like they're going all in.
All in. Why do you think they do that?
I think it comes down to empathy.
Empathy, yeah.
Even if it's twisted.
The twisted form of empathy.
Right. They're trying to protect the other person from more hurt.
Yeah. I'll let that line, if it stops your tears, I'll wear the mask with pride.
Mm-hmm.
They're willing to be hated
Right.
to make the other person feel better.
And there's that line, I'll play the part if it means you won't feel like a fool.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to protect the other person's ego.
Totally.
Make it easier for them to move on.
Yeah. It's like better to be the villain
Right.
than to let the other person blame themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But even while they're playing this villain,
Yeah.
you still sense this underlying love. Though I play this role, my heart remains the same, longing for the days when you whispered my name.
And that hope
Mm-hmm.
that maybe they can get back together.
Hoping you'll remember our love from the past.
Yeah. It's like they're holding on to that possibility.
Yeah. What do you think that says about their emotions?
It's complicated, right?
So complicated.
I mean, they're carrying so much pain,
Mm,
but they still love this person.
yeah. It's like they're doing all this emotional labor.
Yeah. Every accusation, a brick upon this wall, but I'll carry the weight if it helps you stand tall.
Yeah. Taking on all the negativity.
All the negativity.
Trying to make things easier for the other person.
And hoping that one day
Yeah.
the other person will see the truth.
I hope one day you'll see the truth behind the lie, the love that never left the light within my eyes.
It's beautiful, but it's sad.
It is. It's so sad.
Because you know it might not happen.
Right. And the final line. All I ever wanted was to see you rise.
Yeah. That's what it all comes down to.
Yeah. They just want this person to be happy.
Yeah.
Even if it means sacrificing their own happiness.
Even if it hurts them.
So we've got Morphine, this intense entanglement.
Yeah.
Wilted.
Yeah.
The slow decay of a relationship
Yep.
and your villain, this act of sacrifice.
Right.
And when you look at these three songs together,
Yeah.
what does it tell us about Shadowsphere?
I think it shows how deeply they feel things,
Mhm.
how much they've been through, and
Yeah.
how much they're willing to give.
Yeah, and when you consider their health issues,
Mhm.
the breakup, the tough childhood,
It all adds another layer, doesn't it?
it does.
Yeah.
It's like, these aren't just songs.
No.
They're like windows into their soul.
Exactly. They're raw. They're honest.
Yeah. So for anyone listening,
Yeah.
think about your own life. How do you see people dealing with emotional pain,
Yeah.
especially when it's tied up with relationships?
And personal struggle.
Yeah. What lengths do people go to?
To hold on to love,
To-
to protect the people they care about.
Yeah. It's something to really think about.
It is.
Shadowsphere's music, I think it really makes you think.
It does. It makes you feel.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Okay.
Thanks for listening,
And thanks for having me.
and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Sounds good.